Let me tell you something that most people don't like to talk about, something that hides in plain sight. It's a truth I've come to learn after many years walking this earth, working in medicine, and sitting by the bedside of those who wish they had paid attention sooner. You see, when you're past 60, your body doesn't just whisper to you, it starts to speak loudly. But the trouble is, most folks ignore the voice. They chalk up the signs to just old age or nothing serious until it's too late. And one of the most overlooked warning signs is itching. Yes, itching. Not just dry skin or mosquito bites. I'm talking about persistent, deep, and unexplained itching in specific spots on your body. It may sound harmless, but sometimes it's your body crying out about something much more serious happening on the inside. And in more than a few cases I've seen, it was the beginning of the end. Now listen closely, because I'm going to share with you 4 itchy spots that I've seen over and over in my years as a doctor. 4 places where, when an older person complained of itching, it turned out to be more than skin deep. And sadly, these signs were often linked to conditions that shorten lives. I don't say this to scare you. I say this so you can catch it early, so you can take action while you still can. I've seen too many people ignore these signs until the damage was done. Don't let that be you. Let me start with the first place, the upper back, right between the shoulder blades. You might think it's just an awkward spot that's hard to reach. Maybe you've been rubbing it against the corner of a wall or asking someone to scratch it for you. But when that itch keeps coming back, even when the skin looks normal, it's often a red flag. In many of my older patients, this particular itch turned out to be related to internal issues with the liver. You see, your liver helps to filter out toxins. But when it's not working well, bile salts can build up in your blood, and your skin is one of the first places that feels it. That itch in the back, especially if it gets worse at night or doesn't go away with creams, could be a sign of cholestasis. In plain words, your liver might be struggling, and if you ignore it, you're not just risking discomfort, you're risking your life. I remember one gentleman in his early 70s. Tough man, worked in construction all his life. He kept scratching his back with a kitchen spoon. By the time he came in, it was already late-stage liver disease. He passed within a year. Don't brush it off. That itch might be small, but the message is loud. The second spot that raises a red flag is the lower legs, especially the shins. If you're over 60 and find yourself constantly scratching your legs, even when there's no rash, no dryness, and no visible reason, pay attention. This kind of itching is sometimes connected to poor kidney function. Now, most people think kidney disease means pain or swelling or trouble peeing. But before all that starts, your body might try to warn you with itching. When your kidneys can't filter your blood the way they should, waste builds up in the body. One of the ways that waste irritates the system is through the skin. That's where the itching comes from. It doesn't matter if your skin looks fine. If the itch keeps coming back, especially on your legs, you need to have your kidneys checked. I had a patient named Anita, 70 years old. She came in complaining that her legs itched so bad at night she couldn't sleep. She tried everything, changed her soaps, bought expensive lotions, but the itch was coming from the inside. Her kidney numbers were dropping fast, and by the time the symptoms were bad enough to force her to the hospital, she needed dialysis. She lived only 2 more years. If she had acted on that itch earlier, it might have been a different story. The third place I want to talk about is the scalp. Now I know what you're thinking. Doc, everyone has an itchy scalp sometimes. Yes, that's true. But I'm not talking about the kind of itch you get from skipping a wash or wearing a hat too long. I'm talking about relentless scalp itching that doesn't stop. That gets worse at night. That seems to have no cause. For older people, this type of itch can sometimes be connected to blood cancers. Yes, you heard that right. Cancers like lymphoma or even leukemia have been known to cause what we call perineoplastic itching. It's a reaction your body has to cancer growing silently. The itch shows up before other signs do. It's not something a shampoo can fix. I had an older friend, George, who was 73, retired librarian, came in complaining that his scalp was driving him mad. We ran some tests just to be safe. Turned out he had early-stage lymphoma. Because we caught it early, he got treatment and had a few good years. But I've also seen others where the itch was ignored for too long. Don't gamble with your life. If that scalp itch feels wrong, get it checked. And then there's the fourth place, the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. When these areas start to itch constantly, especially without any rash, it could be a sign of something very serious going on in your blood. In many cases, it's related to problems with your bile ducts or even pancreatic cancer. Yes, that's right, pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest forms out there. You see, the same bile salts that irritate the back can also gather in the extremities. It's strange, isn't it? How something so deep inside can first show up on your skin. But that's the body for you. It gives signs. We just have to know how to listen. A woman named Sarla, 68 years old, came to me and said her hands were itching all the time. She thought it was something she ate, but we ran some scans. Her pancreas was inflamed. Cancer had already started spreading. She only lasted 8 months. That itch was the body's first cry for help. Now I want you to understand something. Itching doesn't always mean something fatal. Sometimes it really is just dry skin. But after 60, you can't afford to guess. You've earned your years. You've lived through storms and raised families. You've survived heartbreak and built a life worth protecting. So why ignore the signals your body gives you now? When these 4 places itch, the upper back, the lower legs, the scalp, and the palms or soles, and the itching won't go away, it's not just an inconvenience, it's a clue, a warning, a call to action. Let me tell you why this matters so deeply to me. Over the decades, I've seen so many older adults who were sharp, full of life, and still dreaming. But they waited. They ignored the early signs. They thought they were being tough. But being tough is not about staying quiet. It's about being wise enough to act. The older we get, the more we need to respect the body's whispers, because those whispers can become screams. And sometimes by the time you hear the scream, it's too late. If something doesn't feel right, don't explain it away. Don't wait for it to go away on its own. Get tested, get checked. Don't think about the money or the time or the trouble. Think about the people who love you. Think about the life you still want to live. You don't have to live in fear. You just need to live in awareness. And trust me, I've seen it with my own eyes. A simple itch can be the difference between catching something early and running out of time. So here's my honest advice to you. If you're over 60 and one of these itchy places has been bothering you for more than a few weeks, especially if nothing on the skin looks unusual, go see a doctor. Ask for blood tests, ask for liver and kidney function tests, ask for imaging if needed. Don't settle for guesswork. You don't need to panic, but you do need to act. Because a long life isn't just about living more years. It's about noticing the signs that help you hold on to those years. And sometimes it starts with something as simple as an itch. I've been around long enough to know that small things, when ignored, become big things. I've lost too many friends and patients to silence and stubbornness. Don't be one of them. Be the one who listens. Be the one who acts. Because sometimes an itchy back is not just an itchy back. Sometimes it's the sound of the clock ticking, and you deserve more time, more days, more moments. If your body is speaking, it's your job now to listen. How can persistent itching on the lower legs be an early hidden symptom of declining kidney function in seniors? Let me tell you something that most folks never see coming. It doesn't scream or shout. It doesn't drop you to your knees right away. It just shows up quiet and annoying, like a whisper you can't quite make out. It starts with an itch. Nothing dramatic, just a little bit of scratching on the lower legs. You think maybe it's dry skin, or maybe the laundry soap, maybe the weather's changing, or your skin's just getting old. You rub some lotion on. Maybe it helps for a few hours, maybe it doesn't. And then the itch comes back, day after day. Sometimes it keeps you up at night. You find yourself reaching down to scratch the same spot again and again until it's red and sore. But you still don't think it's serious. After all, it's just an itch, right? Let me tell you, that's exactly how the body warns you when your kidneys start to fail. And I've seen too many good people ignore that signal until it was too late. I remember a man named Harish. He was 71, strong spirit, spent his life working with his hands, raising a family, walking miles every day. Came into my clinic one morning rubbing at his shins. "Doc," he said, "I don't know what's wrong. My legs are itching like crazy. No rash, no dryness, just itching." He looked tired, said it had been keeping him up for weeks. I asked if he had tried changing his soap or using ointments. He had. Nothing helped. Right then, I knew we had to dig deeper, not on the skin, but beneath it, inside. You see, when the kidneys start slowing down, they don't always give you clear symptoms. You won't always feel pain or see swelling at first. The kidneys are quiet workers. They filter the blood, remove toxins, and help balance minerals in the body. But when they begin to fail, those toxins start to build up in the bloodstream. Waste products like urea and excess phosphorus rise, and your skin starts to feel it, especially the skin on your lower legs, where blood flow can slow down as you age. That's where the itching begins, not from outside, but from deep inside the body, where those poisons settle in the tissues and irritate the nerves. That's why so many older adults experience persistent itching on the shins and calves before any other symptom shows up. They go to dermatologists who treat it like eczema. They spend money on creams and oils. But the real problem is not on the skin, it's in the blood. And if you don't catch it early, that itch becomes your first and only warning sign that your kidneys are in trouble. Harish's blood work showed exactly what I feared. His creatinine was high, his glomerular filtration rate, or GFR, was low. In simple words, his kidneys were struggling. He didn't have diabetes, he didn't have high blood pressure, but his kidneys were silently declining. That itch on his legs was his only clue. Luckily, we caught it before he needed dialysis, but many are not so fortunate. Now let me take you back a bit. In my early days, we didn't have fancy machines or apps to tell us what was wrong. We had to learn to listen to the body, a patient's hands, their eyes, the way they walked, the way they spoke. Itching, especially persistent itching on the lower legs in an elderly person, was never something we ignored. It was one of those subtle signs that something deeper was off. And over time, I learned to ask the right questions. Is it worse at night? Does it feel like it's coming from inside the skin? Have you tried everything and nothing works? If the answer was yes, I always check the kidneys. What makes it worse is that kidney disease often progresses slowly. You don't feel sick right away. You don't lose weight or run a fever. So you think you're fine. Until one day, your legs swell, your ankles puff up, you feel exhausted all the time. And by then, the damage is deep. That's why recognizing the itch is so important. It's your chance to act while there's still time. I'll tell you something else. A lot of people ignore it because they think it's just part of getting older. But there's a big difference between normal aging and the body breaking down. You're not supposed to itch endlessly every day. You're not supposed to feel like bugs are crawling under your skin. That's not old age, that's a message. And it needs to be answered. If you or someone you love is over 60 and dealing with an unexplained itch on the lower legs, even if the skin looks fine, please don't brush it off. Ask your doctor for a full kidney panel. Get your creatinine, BUN, GFR, and even your phosphorus and calcium levels checked. Sometimes it's reversible, sometimes it's manageable with the right care, but you need to catch it. You need to see it for what it is. I've seen too many people wait, too many people who thought they had time. They came back when their feet were swollen, when their blood pressure was sky high, when they were short of breath because fluid had built up in their lungs. That itch was the first sign. It was always there, but they didn't know, and no one told them. Harish made some changes after his diagnosis. He started eating differently, less salt, more water, fewer processed foods. He took his medications. He got his kidneys monitored every few months. That man lived 8 more good years, played with his grandchildren, went on trips with his wife, laughed, smiled, all because he listened to the itch. So I'm telling you now, that itch you feel on your legs, that tug that won't quit, don't silence it. Don't wait for it to get worse. Listen to your body. It's wiser than you think. And sometimes it speaks in whispers. A little itch can save your life. I've seen it happen, and I want it to happen for you too. If you liked today's discussion, don't forget to like the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel. So until next time, take care.